Rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can please bow your heads for the prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful summer, the beautiful weather, the bountiful crops that you've given us in bringing us together for this evening's meeting. Father, we pray that you guide us through our meeting agenda as well, and guide us with the leadership for our wonderful community. In your name we pray. Amen. Reading and approval of the minutes from July 15th and July 25th. Monty, can we do that all in one full swoop?
Yes, you can.
Ask.
Move to approve. Second. Suspend the reading. Second.
Motion by Stern and second by Folkerts. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Approval of the agenda for this evening. Any additions? Knocking at all? Motion for approval on the agenda for this evening?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second by Stern and Folkerts. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, 5A, engineers report. Jared, you're up.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Jared Quimby with More Engineering. Also on the line, I believe it is Mallory Lee, so More Engineering in the Minot office. So what I have, you should have a report. Just going to touch on a few things. No approvals for tonight, so I'm going to try and go as fast as I can. Expedition Estates subdivision. You guys are obviously aware of the construction going on out there. As far as the public infrastructure goes, Fletton is finishing up the work in Ottertail Loop. There's been a few delays up there. But in talking with those guys, they think they're going to be finished with it next week. Then they'll focus on road work in the loop. So before you pave anything, you need to run a camera through and do some pressure testing. And so there's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross there. There still have been no repairs done to 11th Street. From my understanding, talking with their representatives, they're gonna televise the sewer under 11th here again when they televise Otter Creek Loop, and try and come up with a reasonable plan to address those problems. So I'm happy with that. I guess if that all happens this month, then we may potentially have some recommendations from them on how to address the problems. But at this moment, I don't have an answer for that other than just continuing to monitor construction up there. Any questions?
Jared, this is Jason. Is that the reason for the delay on 11th where we don't have through traffic, I'm assuming? Towards the south side?
It was the reason for the traffic disruption? What was that, Jason?
Well, is that for the they want to televise 11th, is that the reason why we still haven't gotten through traffic all the way to the south from the north on 11th? I'm assuming that's why. Because there's a couple, isn't there one or two spots that are still kind of blocked? Or am I, yeah.
I think it had more to do with that they had to actually open trench for a while up there, so.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't want to go up there and be that guy. I was just curious, so. Just a question is all. Thank you, Jeremy.
Okay, all right. So really, I mean, the city of Hazen will take over the ownership of the infrastructure as soon as everything proves that it meets all of the standards of the state and, of the city. And at this point, you don't own the infrastructure. It's still in their hands because they're not done. So just be aware, if everything passes, the transition will happen at some point, but I don't know when that'll be. I want to move on here. Alley improvements. So you guys we're working on a concrete alley parking lot area. Construction is underway there. They did start in July. Generally, they're about maybe 15% complete, starting on the east side. It's a little bit slower, working up against buildings, around some obstacles there. They think they're going to start going a little faster here now. Hopefully that's the case. I guess there's no payment request and no payments to make, but we will probably be making a payment number 1 to them at the next meeting. Generally, though, I'm not aware of any changes or modifications at this point. Stop me if I can't see you guys, so I can't tell if there's questions or not. So just stop me if there are. As far as the water meter replacement work is going, it's happening. The company is contacting people to schedule work. That's probably the hardest part of their job. Grant has some totals for me. I can't remember exactly. Monty, correct me if I say something wrong, but I think they're in the neighborhood of 300 meters replaced. Maybe have another 300 scheduled, and so they're hoping that more people answer the phone, or they can get the rest of them scheduled. If everything goes according to schedule, they'll have the meter replacement done within September. You get contacted, that's about a 20-minute visit. It'll be a licensed plumber, and they'll come in, they'll pop out the old meter that they're doing in, and then program it so that the codes and the numbers all match up into the new billing system that the city will have. So the public, don't be afraid to let them in. We're monitoring construction. We're not checking every single one of them. So if you do notice a leak or anything in yours, please let the city know as soon as possible. I guess moving on here, as far as the lift station one goes, we're updating 2 of the lift stations to the SCADA system, and the equipment is generally here. I'm watching a few emails going back and forth. I do think that work will happen this month. It's kind of just some coordination between antennas and whatever, but that electrician will put in 2 new smart components in those lift stations and integrate that with your SCADA system so those can be monitored remotely. But that should be done, might be done by the next meeting, and then we'll have to make a payment to those guys. Skills is doing that work. Sanitary sewer improvements. So we're working on the plan. Again, this project involves lining some clay sewer mains, fixing some broken spots. What more engineering is working on right now is the plans and the specifications. We're about 80% complete with the plans and specifications. I'm going to be asking the city council to approve plans and authorize us to advertise for bids at the September 3rd meeting, or whatever date you have that month in early September. So we're just kind of finishing up specs and finishing up plans. We did get a couple copies of some old televising records from Monty today. That we'll blast through those here next week. Make sure that those plans are updated. It's a matter of getting accurate locations of sewer services and just re-verifying material types and lengths and that kind of stuff. So I don't see anything getting getting in our way of meeting that date. Again, the plan is to bid that September and award in October, and if all goes well, allow some spot repairs to happen or not happen depending on contractor schedules. The other thing I'll say with that is we're obligated to have a public information meeting. Kind of looking at that second meeting in September is probably a good time to do that. We won't have open bids yet by that point. If you'd like us to wait until bids are open, we could, but then that would just push that meeting into October. I'm okay with either. It's easier for us to get to your meetings the second meeting of the month. So I guess I prefer to the second meeting in September or the second one in October to kind of inform and educate the public on the need for repairs, the cost, when it's going to happen, and just kind of go through that scope. So I'll let you guys decide when you want us to present that. But I guess I was thinking that it would be at a normal council meeting, but it could be at another night as well. That's your decision. We'll do it whenever.
I think we can make it work as long as it's the second meeting of the month, Jared? Right?
In September?
September or October? You're more apt to get there the second meetings of the month, right?
At this moment, I can do either one. So
Okay.
if you want to pick one, great. If you want to delay, you can delay. But I think we got to advertise it for 2 weeks ahead of time, so I need to know in the next week or two if you wanted it in September.
Are we all good with September?
Yeah.
Well, then you do have a 3-week break between the second meeting in September and the first meeting in October if you wanted to do a special night.
When's your absolute drop dead need to know, Jared? Today?
No. I'm just thinking of however many days I had to get the newspaper ahead of time
Right.
in order to get 14 days of publishing before that. So probably the 20th of August, maybe somewhere in there, 25th, something like that.
Okay. We could probably make it work for the
You can tell me-
19th.
You can tell me how, or you can tell me the next meeting. I'm good with either one.
If you want to just let Monty, just,
We'll probably have that far from your next meeting early.
No, we meet on the 19th again, so it's only a matter of days.
are you guys fine with the 19th?
Yeah.
Let's just shoot for the 19th, Monty.
To let him know.
Go to have that
We
meeting.
won't have plans by the 19th of August. He's talking of August.
Oh, sorry.
The 16th would be our meeting in September if you wanted to set that public meeting that night.
Dustin, we're talking about the public meeting for the sewer.
Project.
Would the 16th of September? That's our second meeting of the month in September. Would that work for you?
President Overnauer will be gone that day.
You will be?
If you guys want to pick a separate night, I'm generally okay with that as long as it works.
You want to check with Jerry and see if he wants to be involved with that, and then if he does, then we can plan accordingly?
Well, like I say, we can talk about it or decide at the next meeting on the 19th of this month too. You'll still have time to publish.
Well, let's just plan on that then, put it on the agenda to discuss. And
Okay.
thank you.
I'll wait here for you.
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. Then I guess just last thing is just a reminder, when they do the paving at Otter Creek Loop, you will be doing some patching in town. You guys did award that to Chloe Asphalt several months ago, so just expect that. There's just a handful, maybe 10 random patches that'll happen At that same time, when we were requesting that work back in April, we were looking for a quote from contractors to do some random concrete repairs for you guys too, some valley gutters, some sidewalks, some curbs, some little things the city wanted done. But we were not able to get a quote from Winkler to do that work. He kind of just told us they can't do it this year. So if you really want that work done, we need to find someone else, not local, to do that. Or if you're okay waiting, there may be a chance they can get it in, but I don't have a quote from them. We haven't awarded anything. It's kind of up to you how urgent some of those things are.
What do you guys think?
And I can't even tell you the location where exactly why. He probably has a better idea than I do.
And say it might be something we need to refresh ourselves on, which ones we were looking at for concrete too.
Okay. And if you tell me to send it out and get someone else to quote it, I will. But if you decide you're okay just waiting, then we would probably just ask them to give us quotes this fall, knowing that it'll be next year.
Jared?
I'll resend that. I can resend that tomorrow.
Hey, Jared,
Yeah.
it's kind of sounds like the consensus is to wait. Am I correct, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of those spots are critical.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, then we'll just wait and we'll probably try and get a quote later this fall, and it'll probably be next year.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess we got a lot of work going on and, more stuff coming up with public meeting and bidding of the sewer job. It'll be a busy fall. We'll be seeing a lot of each other probably. Otherwise, I'm gonna just go on mute here and I'll sit here for a while in case there's something for us.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
All right, thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Moving on to 6A, requested citizens. Local permit raffle, Hazen area dollars for scholars. I think we want to handle that one separate because Lauren's here.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Weidrich, second by Folkerts. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. 6B, local permit, bingo, Chalk Fest, and update on event. Lauren, did you want to talk, or should we approve it then?
Well, I mean, we're just, as far as the bid goes, we're just gonna, hope to maybe raising a little more money for Chalk Fest. We're gonna hold a bingo game. I don't know if we'll make any money. Part of it's just for something for people to do while they're at the festival too. So we'll be doing this bingo Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Motion to approve.
Pardon me?
Motion by Weidrich,
Second.
Okay.
second by Folkerts. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
And then as far as an update, Dave has been terrific, city guys have been great, and so we've been in communication with what we need and when and where, and these guys are gonna show up and help get the street cleaned up and get the barricades dropped off and get the dumpster and kind of the usual stuff that the city has done in the past. So I think we're all squared away. So thank you for the street closing for the week. I appreciate that. We'll be starting Monday to get the mosaic laid out, and that'll take us 2 days. And Chalk Fest will start on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
So anything that I can answer or?
I suppose I do have one question. and
Sure.
This may better fall under the reports part, but because it has to do with the library. Cindy brought to my attention today when I was at the library meeting that there was a permanent fixture installed on the east side of the library.
Oh, what was it?
A permanent fixture from West River. I'm thinking it's something for internet.
Oh, right, they set up I haven't looked at it. Last year they just put a temporary Wi-Fi booster on a post.
Sure.
Now, it's something different this year?
Yeah, so apparently West River had showed up to the library today or yesterday and to install this, Cindy was completely unaware of it.
Oh, okay,
They had said that it was for Chalk Fest.
okay. Is it on their building?
It's on the building.
Okay.
And yeah,
Does, I suppose you don't know if they intend to make that permanent?
it is a permanent fixture.
So we now have Wi-Fi in the park?
Apparently, but Cindy wasn't aware of it. They said it was
Yeah, I'm
for
not-
Chalk Fest, so I don't know where that all stemmed from.
Yeah,
I just figured it just by happenstance, it was kicked off by the Chalk Fest committee or
Yeah.
whatnot, if we could just better
Communicate.
communication.
yeah, I don't know if we knew they were gonna do that,
And,
put on a permanent one.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Okay,
this is brand new information to me as of today, so I mean, I intend to try and figure it out just just for future reference
okay,
sake.
okay, yeah.
And I guess one other thing as far
Sure.
as the library, I guess it's been an issue in the past. It didn't sound like it was this last year, but it seems like there was an expectation to leave the library open so they could facilitate the use of the bathrooms
Okay,
for the people coming to the event and stuff like that.
they don't stay open past 6, do they?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's typically, but again, that was not year one, it sounded like. This is year 3, correct?
Well, 4. So what we did this year, kids are using chalk and their hands are dirty.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so we had some water buckets, and after about the 4th kid, the water started to look
Yeah.
weird. And so anyway, so they would run to the library. So this year we have 2 hand washing stations,
Okay.
so the kids shouldn't be in and out.
And this is, I'm not presenting these issues as
Sure.
if like,
Yeah.
just stop doing that. It's just more like a
Yeah,
communication
FYI
aspect
kind of
of things
thing,
like
but I think
that.
we've helped Cindy that way, yeah.
Cool.
But I'll talk to her about that.
That would be great. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Warren. Anything else? Okay, see you at the Chalk Fest. All right, thank you.
6C, Deputy Martin Memorial Update. Jack?
Yeah. I just want to touch bases with you guys again on where we're at with the memorial. I got pictures there for you, Monty, once more off. The first one's what the memorial looks like, and that's been ordered. It's coming from overseas, which I didn't know, so it's going to be, I talked to Fargo Monument, and it said it's going to be 3, probably 4 months till they get it. And then they have to put all of the engravable lettering and stuff on there. That'll take them 2 months. So it looks like April, probably the earliest, we'll be able to set the monument, because they said the frost's got to be out of the ground when we do that. And we got a picture of the hood here that we got. Keith Orr bought that at a fundraiser down in Mandan here a couple months ago that they put on for Deputy Paul's family and stuff. And he bought that and donated it to us. We're going to hang that in the courthouse. Right where you walk into the courthouse, you go through the metal detector, and then you can take a right. That'll take you over to the sheriff's office. As soon as you take that right, there's a big blank wall there. So we're gonna put that up there, and I'd like to get that on as soon as we can. And then the last thing I got, and the main reason I want to stop tonight is got pictures of the bench there with. Now the bench isn't quite right. My printer put on me, so I couldn't print it off the way it's supposed to be. The back of the bench is supposed to be black. So just so you're aware of that. We're having these benches made. Mindy, Paul's widow, would like to see a bench in each town, and it won't cost the city nothing. We've got funds to get them. But the reason I stopped tonight is to make sure that Hazen City is willing to accept one. You guys can put it wherever you want or do what you want to do with it. They'll be powder coated and stuff, they're metal, so there will be no upkeep and stuff to them, but I need to know that each city's gonna take one, so I get the right amount ordered and stuff. And I think it'd be a nice bench. It's a 4-foot bench. We'll be putting up on here, so I guess the only thing I'm looking for from you guys tonight is to see if you want one, if you feel the city wants one or not. Gotta try and get Zappy, that's the only town I haven't gotten to, I can't get a hold of anybody up there, so. But everybody else is gratefully taking one, so I just wanted to see if you guys were interested and if you take one. Like I say, there shouldn't be no upkeep, they're water coated in black and blue. And wherever you think it would suit you best if you decide you want one.
Well, I think I'd speak for everybody that this is an honor. This is a great honor to have in our community and for it not to cost anything in memory of Paul. I think we're good with having one too.
Okay,
We appreciate that.
that sounds good. Appreciate that and
We'll fight a hole for it.
Okay, if you guys have any questions, I need to get a hold of you. Guy in the corner, or got my phone number, so if you need to get a hold of me for any questions or whatever. Gotta let you guys know, get a hold of you tomorrow, so we can get some material ordered. You thought you could start those events next week already. So hopefully get that done as soon as possible. Okay?
So thank you so much for all your work on this. It really means a lot.
Something I got other guys that are helping me with it too, but I think it was something that needed to be done, the hell of a tragedy. And, something that needed to be done in memory of it. We'll never forget him, so, whatever, so. Okay, thanks for your time.
You bet.
Thank you.
6D, Harvest Fest update, Chamber, CDB. Antoinette.
Guys, first of all, I think that going to be amazing in the Pocket Park, just because we plan on doing a Memorial Day thing for Christmas, so we're kind of a nice little thing to do. But anywho, just thought I would throw that out there. It's a Memorial Pocket Park. Here you go. Here is our agenda for Harvest Fest. Mr. Anton, if you want more.
Sure thing.
Just so you can see, we have a lot going on with our schedule, anywhere from the parade to, of course, Hair Ball. And Monty, I did send something to your email. I don't know, can that be pulled up? No, okay. Well, I made a map, just it's really hard to see. And you pick a map. Okay. So, this is what I just wanted to show. We are going to do the parade route again at the school, football field, and hockey rink. It's a great location. The purple is just barricades, so yes, lovely city game. I will need lots of barricades, at least 8, but that doesn't mean just 8, like to go across. So I'll show you the map too. Maybe I can give you one. So there's the parade route down towards Senex, towards Heritage Park, and I know this sounds silly, but this is the only way we can make it work. It's going to stop between Urban Coffee House and Hazen Waterworks building. Doesn't mean we want them to stop. That's just the route it'll end, but we want them to keep traveling back up to wherever they loaded the parade floats. Okay? Does that make sense? Because we want to use Maine as much as we can, that's the only way we can, because West Dakota Lumber is going to have 2 vendors in there, and the Pocket Park will have a photo booth, and the boys basketball team will be using the parking lot for Hazen Motors for a free throw contest. And Friday we will already have to get everything set up. And you can see Hairball is going to be between WRT and Parker Inc. And the gate is there, and we meet on Monday night, my committee, as well as the Fair Board Association, just to finalize. They are bringing over the bleachers, the corrals, all that stuff Thursday, Friday. So I'm asking if we can block starting Thursday night until Saturday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, or Sunday night at 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll just put the gates, the barricades back. But Thursday, Fridays, they think they should be able to get the stage all set up. I don't know if you guys know this, but the stage and lighting comes from a separate company. So the fair board is spending over $25,000 to $40,000, hence why the ticket sales are $35 or $40. This is a wonderful collaboration between the fair and Hazen. It shows that we are community minded, and it doesn't benefit just the chamber by all means. The ticket sales benefit Mercer County Fair Association, and hence all of us, okay? Beer garden, you'll see the little beer there. That's gonna be in front of Jensen's down to the creamery probably. Firemen, bless your hearts, they are serving. The only way they're serving is if we don't have mixed drinks. So we are not doing mixed drinks. We are doing foofy drinks in a can, which is just fine. And no tickets, it's gonna be cash. People are more able to tip more if they will want to tip more. So firemen will receive the tips, and the Chamber of Commerce will receive the alcohol sale money. And then, of course, tickets will go to Mercer County Fair. So we are all in this together, and it's a great, great thing. Girls Wrestling will be serving some drinks, like Powerades, Pops, water. And you'll notice the gate, and this is not set in stone yet, but the gate is gonna have to, we have to have a gate because we just can't have people coming in and out. But across from Jensen's and Union State Bank, in the middle, Jason, I think that was your kind of idea. I really like that idea. So we're gonna present that on Monday night and have two sections. I already have people signed up to do wristbands and IDs, wristbands. The adults will be white with, I don't know if I should say, because then you might go buy some. Will be white with Mick Ultra, and then the minors will have pink, and it's specified. Everybody needs to wear a wristband. I don't care if you're 60, 21, or 10, you all have to wear a wristband, okay? So, what else am I missing? There's just a lot of planning, as you guys know. We will communicate with the businesses about the businesses being, just like with Touch a Truck, everybody is very receptive and flexible, and I think that'll be another situation with this big Harvest Fest coming up. But I'll communicate, or the committee will communicate with the businesses. One thing besides barricades, here you go, sir. Besides barricades, we'll need dumpsters or trash cans. Last year we pulled like from the pocket park and then pulled it back, and so park will bring over picnic tables again, and then the city can help with the cans and the barricades. And I was going to ask about the cement because that is a tripping hazard, but that's where where Jensen's Corner is. But we're thinking that's where the ice trailer will be and the beer truck. So we'll keep that covered as much as we can, because you know how people are so happy. We don't want anything to happen with that. So if you have any questions, comments, if you want to help with sign up, that's perfect. I know we are in communication with Mercer County Sheriff and with Dave or Jim and his staff about security. We really strongly believe in following the rules, the ordinances, and so we want to make sure that we are doing things correctly and with permission. And so we are trying to get all those hammered out. Their contract is absolutely insane. They want like 6 people in front of the corral, or in front of the stage, and then 6 feet with the corral. So, I mean, they're not like real AC/DC or KISS, but yet they seem to be very, very popular. And so we have 3 positions available for security, and you get in free for that. If you stand in front, but you have to help with tear down and set up, and they want anything from fruit trays to veggie trays to liquid IV drinks. I mean, just crazy stuff, but we do what we can. The Chamber of Commerce is taking care of all that, and of course the Fair Association is taking care of the generators, because as we know, the electricity is not very good, and that was another thing. I need at least 3 outlets, and we're still gonna decide on that on Monday, but I think the one by Western Frontier, I was told, is being moved to IBEW to going north, that one pole. Who told me that? Did Brandon?
Brandon and Mark.
One of the two, yes. So they were working on that. I really don't know. Just please let us know how we can help. But it's just very vital that we have good electricity. I know besides Jensen's, or south of Jensen's, there's an outlet there. So I'm thinking that's where the mechanical bowl is gonna go. I don't care if the food trucks have generators because it'll be loud. No one's gonna really care, hopefully. The one bad thing that I think, but my committee says don't worry about it, the food trucks will be outside because there are going to be people that are not going to spend $35, $40 to go to a concert, but they want to go eat a hot dog or something, so they're not. So we thought, giving our food trucks some business, let's keep them outside of the gated area, as well as up your axe throwing, the bull riding, and there will be a photo booth in the pocket park and also inside the gates. So Sasha Borlaug, I don't know if you know her, she's married to Tanner, Tyler, one of the two. She has portable photo booths. And so how great will that be to have one outside of the gate and one inside as well. So, have I missed anything?
Can you kind of explain, you mentioned me earlier in Todd's discussion, where the bleachers are going inside of the
Yes.
admissions?
Yes, so, don't mind my little map here. So this is the gate right here between Jensen's, the tree, and then Union State Bank. So the bleachers will be facing west and they'll be hopefully in a U shape. This will block, so people can't just sit outside and watch. The bleachers will block the stage, which is right here. Does that make sense? And that was the Fair Board's recommendation, because if you get people sitting out here, and we've already heard this, well, we'll just watch. No, you won't, because we'll have the trailers right here for the beer, so it's really gonna be hard to see. So that's where the bleachers will be, Jason.
And then you're gonna have, looks like, gates on either side.
Oh, yes,
No, for the admissions.
yes, yeah. Basically in the middle. It's not that big of a block once you look at it, really. So we might, who knows, we might have to extend that gate even down more. It's all, I don't know what you guys did in
That would maybe
2013.
push your
Put it out towards this way.
bleachers in further to the west.
Oh, yeah. So, it's something brand new to me. I've never planned something this big, so I've been worried sick about it since 2023, but I think we'll make it work. So,
So I've just got one question since we've got our official here. Jim, I guess my thought when I talked to Antoinette, the flow of admissions, should a guy have ID check on, say, two tables, and then they walk in, and then you have another set of people banding?
yeah, that's,
I think that's the plan.
yes,
Yeah.
that's how I have right here.
Okay.
Wristbands, let's see, wristbands and IDs. And then the money part will have to be separate, because if people don't have a ticket, they'll have to buy, so. And again, that'll all be decided. We have Elmouts that decided, did I say that right? Elmouts?
Yeah.
Decided to join our committee because he was very instrumental in getting the 2013 Centennial Hair Belt going for Hazen. So I think with his expertise, we should be able to. And Lights, Scott and Angie and Tammy, Vicky, Ron, they're doing the whole section from 7 until 12, bless their hearts. And they have done it for us in the past, so they're pretty good at what they do. So I'm just asking if we have heard anything about electricity yet, because that's our number one downfall lately when we have events. So if you've heard of anything, I just heard that Brandon and Mark were going to move it. Although we don't need that pole, but we do need electricity for the other little things. And I'll just reach out to businesses and see if the chamber can maybe donate. Not that we have a lot of money, but we'll figure it out, so.
Monty, have you heard from Brendan or Mark, or?
They were supposedly doing it today.
Oh, okay.
Because we're supposed to get a generator donated from Control for the band itself, so, but, yeah. Any other questions, comments?
Reach out to MDU.
What was that?
I would reach out to MDU to make sure that they can take all that power, because you can, I don't want to say it on camera, but they can shut the power off in that alley.
Yeah.
So you might want to have them for the check, make sure the breakers are good, ready to put a lock on it.
That's a good thing, and I did just find out too that West River Transit has, they will be shuttling 2 locations, one at the hub, and I'm trying to find somewhere close to the car show, because it's been brought to my attention that the car show attendees would really like to come downtown that night as well, but they obviously don't want to drive their vehicles. So Transit, West River Transit, Dwayne DePong is on my committee, so he reached out to them and they are willing to do 2 buses, and will end up paying, I believe, $500. But I think it'll be worth it, because the parking will be horrendous down here. And then it also decreases the whole way from driving. Buses are not allowed to have the alcohol on it, and I know our city bus is going up to Riverdale to get like 40 people up there and bring them down. So it's a win-win. The hotel, campgrounds, and there will be people at people's yards camping, so don't call and turn them in. Just let them have fun for one night.
We'll see about that.
So, yeah, slowly but surely it's coming along, so,
It'll be good.
yeah. So, thank you guys though for always supporting, and thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
I'll be bugging you for the next 3 weeks. And Chief, you too.
All right, moving on. 7A. Procurement ordinance revision 1.0205, second reading.
This would be the ordinance regarding procurement of goods or services, changing the amount for a department head to be authorized to make purchases from 1,000 to 2,000. The first reading was approved at the last meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion by Weidrich,
Second.
second by Stern. Discussion. Roll call.
Weidrich. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Folkerts.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye. Motion passed.
7B is the changes to the water service regarding the wording for the water meters provided by the municipality at the owner's expense, but they remain the ownership of the city, and that if a water meter is damaged, that the property owner is responsible to replace it at their own cost. And then the other portion just changed the outdated wording for the 5/8 inch meters to 3/4 inch, and the fact that we no longer use compound meters.
And we've already had a first reading. Do I hear a motion for the second reading?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Stern,
Second.
second by Folkerts. Discussion. Roll call.
Stern.
Aye.
Folkerts.
Aye.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye. Motion carried. 7C. Forestry ordinance revision. First reading.
or if you want to make revisions, there has been discussions, especially with the lack of a forester, on allowing property owners to purchase trees and the city would reimburse them up to a certain amount. One of the amounts that has been used in other locations is $100. So if the tree costs $200, the city would reimburse up to $100 for that tree to be planted. It kind of gives the property owner a little responsibility in that as well, as somebody just planting it and walking away. And then I did update the listing based on information from other locations again regarding what type of trees are suitable for the different boulevards based on the size of the boulevards.
So Monty, with that, would that be now the responsibility of citizens for boulevard trees? If they purchase, is that how we got that worded, or?
Yeah, basically they'll be responsible for watering it.
Okay.
They can, we did talk to Galen over there, he's willing to come over and plant them for them. Kind of states it in the ordinance that it needs to be planted by somebody that's certified, whether it's, if we have a forester or it's Galen. You know, and then they're not limited to what tree we provide either. If they want to get a 10-foot tall tree planted, you know, they can pay the upcharge for it too.
The city would still have authority if something's wrong with the tree, it's dangerous or diseased or something.
Trimming it, what have you. Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah.
So all that stuff will stay the same. We're just, without having a forester for the last several years, and there's multiple people out there that want all of our trees planted, we just haven't had a way to do it. So we're kind of adding this in there so we can. We did put a cap on how many trees per year. So it's not taking up that entire line item of tree replacement fund either. And then if we have more than that, we just won't get approved for that year.
So then on that cap then, is that then like $3,000 per the next residence, or is that the whole town?
Well, there
Spend
is,
3,000.
we do 3 trees per property per year. And then 3,000 total for the year, for the entire city.
Okay.
Is the city nursery going to become a city forest then? I mean, it doesn't look like are those trees being sold too or used?
No, those are not being sold. Those are city property. It's most of them are fruit trees down there, I believe, so once there is fruit on them, citizens can go pick free fruit off of it as far as I'm.
Yeah. The plan was to actually increase that forest with more trees eventually. There were trees, just small trees in the Missouri River box or whatever it was called, that were used to replace some of them, but we haven't done those now for quite some time. We would basically buy trees as we needed them to replace in boulevards and then put them in right away rather than putting them in our own lot and then transplanting them.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
There is still the grand idea of the Arboretum. If we can find funding.
I have a quick question on that subject. Is there a place of preference to buy these trees, or what? Is there somebody in the local area that you would recommend?
So we've been, for the last several years, as far as I know, we've been going through Galen Seiler for all the city trees.
Okay.
High Plains
Concept over
Okay.
in Beulah. They've worked with us fairly well
Okay.
throughout the last few
Now,
years.
this is the first reading. When's the second reading? Can you do it at the next meeting, or will that be, you have to wait a certain amount
No,
of time?
it could be the next
At the
meeting.
next meeting.
Okay, all right. Because I am one of the people in this town that is interested in getting some trees. And I don't know if I'll talk to him and see if there's anything, if he recommends anything done in the fall, or if he just recommends things, trees getting planted in the spring. But I am interested. The only question I have is $3,000 enough? That's 30 trees.
There's 30 trees per year.
Yeah, I guess that's my only question. That's the only question I have, is that enough? I don't know. I don't know what the demand will be, because we haven't planted trees in this town for a couple, 2-3 years now. At least that, if not longer. So I don't know how far that'll go.
And these are only for boulevard trees.
Right.
Not for,
I-
backyard or something like
Right,
that.
no, I understand. I've had several of my boulevard trees taken down, and I wish I had some
Yep.
20-footers already in place. I don't.
First couple of years, you're right, it might be a little short.
Yeah. That's it. Only more trees are gonna come down.
Correct.
I mean,
Every year we're taking,
Dutch elm is really raising Cain in this town. It really is.
we kind of came up with the 3,000, because in the line item right now, it's only 6,000 total for tree replacement for the entire city. So if we allocated that entire 3,000 could be used for this, if there's other city trees on city property, there'd be no funding available for that either. For say Main Street or Pocket Park or something like that. It kind of gives us, splits it a little bit. I would imagine if we do run low and we haven't spent any of the other money available for that, we can make a case by case type deal on it.
All right, thank you.
Sir, what was your name?
Delon Moore.
Yvonne Moore, thank you. Any other discussion? Do I hear a motion for the approval of first reading for the 4th Street ordinance revision?
So
Motion by Weidrich,
Second.
second by Folkerts. Discussion. Roll call.
Weidrich. Aye. Folkerts.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye. Motion carried. And then the next reading will be at our
19th, August 19th.
August 19th. All right, moving on to 8A, building permit, extraterritorial zone. Seibel.
Stan Seibel submitted an application to do an accessory use building, a shop, basically. It's right outside of the city limits in the extraterritorial zone. This is the... Turn my picture. This is just a rough diagram of the building. He's proposing a 60 by 40 building. I did not have him complete the floodplain development permit yet. So if he wanted to review this or approve it contingent on that being submitted and approved by the engineers, because he is really close to the floodway. And
Where is this at exactly?
this is over on the end of, is it Elm?
Oh, up on the northeast part of town. Okay,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, I was confused. Okay.
Yeah, it's right up here off of the,
Gotcha.
really brown. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
And that's his land there.
and he owns that land, yes. Gotcha.
Did he say Monty is gonna be storage, or?
It'll be storage, and he is gonna have probably just a holding tank for water, so he can, if he has to, if he's doing something on equipment or whatever, he can at least wash over there, and it'll just go into a holding tank, and he'll pump that when it becomes necessary, rather than worrying about connecting to city services. but it does have 16-foot sidewalls as well.
So then on this, I guess like floodplain thing, even if we were to give its approval now on this building, I guess, would it say that, I guess, we're okay, I guess, with the floodplain? Or, I mean,
No, that would be a separate issue that the engineer reviews and goes off the elevations. He'd have to submit some elevation certificates to be reviewed. So you would basically, if you took action tonight, just approve it contingent upon approval and review and approval of the city engineer. Yeah. So that if there was something wrong, he'd either have to bring that up into compliance or he just wouldn't get the permit.
So then on that, I guess, like residents, I think that's, I guess, near there, so wasn't there a problem there with like the floodway, and after that they came back after us and they wanted us to haul in dirt or something, or?
Yeah, there was a residence over there that did have to get they ended up, as far as I remember, they ended up doing the dirt work themselves to bring it up, the elevation up, to get a certificate for FEMA. Yeah, yeah. It's actually farther to the southwest of that location. Yeah.
I'm assuming, Monty, that Stan's aware of that floodplain
Yes.
possibility? Okay,
Yeah, he had already talked about needing an elevation certificate.
okay. Good. Alright. So what are the wishes of the board? Do I have a motion for the,
I'll make a motion to approve the building permit contingent upon that floodplain evaluation or development, yeah.
motion by Folkerts,
Second.
second by Weidrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Folkerts,
Aye.
Weidrich, Stern,
Aye.
Hack.
Aye. Motion carried. 8B, real estate purchase option, lots 1 through 3, block 1, North Star, 4th edition. Monty?
Was contacted by Nathan and Kathy Bush regarding purchase of these lots. They are near the Arboretum. Be lot 1, 2, and 3. Lot 1 falls underneath the power line easement, so a structure can't be underneath that. They intend, if they're approved, to use that as basically an outdoor recreation. They want to expand their childcare services and those types of things. They made a cash offer of $15,000 to purchase the lots and will assume the special assessments of, I don't remember what it was, nearly $6,000 or right at $6,000.
That's 15 per lot?
No, that is a total of 15,000. This would be roughly 60% of what we value commercial property at, as indicated in the notes. If they get this, they would then petition or make application to change the zoning from residential to commercial to meet their daycare needs, plus that would give them more opportunities for grant funding.
Were they planning on building a building then?
Yes, they will have facilities for student education and
So then I guess, are those other lots there, I guess, I was able to be, I guess I purchased too. Reason why I asked, 'cause I know that guess years ago and stuff, I know that those lots, I know that there were then, I guess, there were, I guess, other people that wanted to buy those lots, and then I was told we're not gonna sell them. Yeah.
I'm not
I'm just
aware of
curious.
that. I mean, they were listed at one time for sale, weren't purchased. The city has ownership of them, and basically it's up to you guys whether you want to sell them or not. And, I don't know what would happen as far as where the Arboretum is now, and I know the city gave conditional use for the dog park over there on that property, so, yeah. But I'm not aware that they were reserved for anything specific, that they weren't gonna be ever sold, so.
Can you scroll back to the map?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Do you know by chance what lot they were planning on building on?
They'd more than likely be building on lots 2 and 3.
Part of 3 is in the floodplain, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
Yeah, so they would have to, again, be aware of, when they get to that point, that they would have to more than likely do a floodplain development permit as well.
So then the other facility will still remain open? I
Yeah,
assume?
yeah, they just want to expand.
So I guess as far as it comes to rezoning, is there any implications to that, or is that something that can just be rezoned to something one time and then in the future rezoned back to something else, or?
It's, basically, they would make application, it would go to the zoning board, there'd be public hearings. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
What would the board like to do, wishes? Your motion,
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase.
I'll second.
motion by Weidrich and second by Folkerts. Further discussion?
I just think the price is, I guess, way too low. 2, I mean, I think that'd be a prime, I guess, like residential area.
I was thinking the same thing. You said Monty's 60% of the value?
What we value property at for tax purposes, yes. But again, lot 1, you can't,
Right.
it's zoned residential, you really can't build on it because of the power line easement. But yeah, 2 and 3 are.
Plus 3 is partially in the floodplain
Yeah.
too, so you're still getting 3 lots there.
Just
Can
like-
you- Go ahead,
Sorry.
Jesse. No, go
I
ahead.
just guess my view of it is, yeah, it may be a little low, but the thing is there could potentially be bringing into, as far as,
Daycare is still a major issue in Mercer County and the entire state. So if we get another facility that can handle more children, I'm up for it. More than likely they'll be asking for tax relief, property tax relief on it too, just like the other daycares are, so they're not gonna get real revenue that way, but it provides to the community.
Any other further discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich,
Aye.
Folkerts,
aye.
Stern,
No,
Hack.
Aye. Motion passed. Moving on to 9A reports, water, sewer, garbage.
no, Jason. Just not Jason.
Okay, thank you. 9B, streets, cemetery. The only thing that they brought to me, we talked to Free this week, And end of the month, they will be complete with snow gate and fixing of the plows. So, what was the other thing you mentioned, Dave, to me again?
I'm gonna start painting or whatever
Yeah.
next week. I wanna get the school zone, the crosswalks and all that painted before school starts. Probably try to get the crosswalks on Main Street done, weather permitting and help.
Anything else?
No, I was on vacation for 2 weeks. I know the guys did a lot of hard work after the storm, cleaning up busted trees and tree branches or whatever. They did a good job of getting that all cleaned up or whatever after the storm or whatever. That kept me pretty busy.
9C, finance, busing, library.
Finance, Monty, do you give the floor to you, sir?
I have nothing to talk about budget later.
Sounds good. Busing, so as far as that goes, so we just had an annual building inspection done at the bus barn there. We were found to be in violation regarding the fire exits of the building. There's two designated fire exits. There's one egress window that leads to the south side of the building. That's access from the office in the southwest or southeast corner of the building there. Either way, that egress window was obstructed by, looked like there's some equipment and stuff. And both these fire exits lead out into the lot that's shared by, the city shop there. Anyways, there's some pallets of stuff, weeds, and things like that obstructing the egress window. Safe exit out of that. The back door, that is blocked. That any safe route out of that back door on the east side of the building. That's access from inside the garage. You go straight out. There's a big dirt mound and a bunch of weeds straight out, and then to the north. I mean, that's fenced off at the edge of the, I'm assuming it's edge of the property, right? And building. And then to the south, it's blocked off by impounded vehicles. So this was the third time, it sounds like, that we were found to be in violation of this particular situation. We're still waiting on the report to see what kind of, what that means for us, I guess, at this point. So yeah, if we get it, it sounds like it's kind of one of those things to where, I hate to say it, but it's kind of put off to the wayside until there's an inspection coming up, and then it's a hustle and bustle to try and get it all up to compliance, and then once it's over, it kind of falls back to just kind of letting it be until the next inspection comes up. So I don't think it's unreasonable just to figure out a permanent solution to just ensuring that these fire escape routes are compliant, I guess. And I don't know but Monty did say that he had sent out letters as far as the impounded vehicles go to get those out of there eventually, hopefully. But in the interim, if we could maybe find a better solutions for just to where to move, if we can move them. Do you have anywhere back there, Dave, that they can?
We're pretty full of her.
I know, and I don't think that.
Trying to get that cleaned up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why the weeds got out of control too. We couldn't get some of the spots to spray decent with a spray vehicle.
Yeah, it's kind of tight back there.
And Danny Walker paid for his vehicles, so he's gonna be getting that big orange tow truck and that pickup out of there.
That tow truck is Danny Walker's too?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He paid impound fees today on those.
That tow truck was his, he didn't just like purchase it.
Oh, no,
That was his?
For years and for years.
Let's see.
So do we have any type of idea that was third violation of? No idea?
We're waiting on their report. I guess, Peggy was saying that it takes them a little bit after they come with the visit and everything like that to kind of compile everything to generate this report. It sounds like on that report is what, it's gonna give us more information as to what this means for us at this point.
It kind of sounds like one of those three strikes, you're out thing, so.
I,
No, I'm not saying it that way, but let's
No, I know what you're
let's get
saying.
her fixed.
no, absolutely, I mean, because I mean, it sounded like we were let off on a warning the first time, like, hey, you gotta get this taken care of. Second time, it was like, seriously, let's get this done. And then this time, we're like, wow, now we're gonna have to do something about it. So, I just don't think it's something that's completely unreasonable to make happen. I think it should happen anyways, because I mean, it's one of those laws, it may be kind of tedious to take care of and stuff like that, but the spirit of it is there for a reason, and it's just to make sure everybody's safe and everything like that, so.
What's that dirt pile back there for, Dave?
That's our black dirt pile. I think the dirt pile itself was far enough away, because I don't think that was an issue here. It's the vehicles between the dirt pile now and.
If there, from what I
and the
understand,
grass.
yeah, and this will be pending the report, right, but, I think you're correct, like, if there was a safe,
Yeah.
if there wasn't the impound of vehicles there blocking it up or
Yeah.
obstructing that.
If there was plenty of room to get the dirt
South, I
pile in
think
the
that would
building or
be.
whatever. That's what we use when we storm grind, is where our dirt pile is stored.
I was just wondering, if we had, we could move it out. to the-
Yeah, we can drag them move it over
Or
or.
move it out.
And
to
because that takes up a lot of real estate back there. So I mean, if that's something that would be,
We got trucks, we can move it out to. the-
Well, we've always kind of kept it back here because black dirt disappears.
yeah, and Monty had brought that up too, that there was some,
That's kind of why the black dirt pile
Potential
is
issues with
behind the
that.
shop. It's not easy to come by or whatever.
yeah.
Well, I guess as long as once you get the report back, if you want to report back to us.
Yeah, I'll keep everybody in touch with what's going on with that. As far as possible foreseen, recourse, I guess, for this could be, anywhere from just withholding payment until we're brought up to compliance. As far as like how it's set up, the payment structure, we pay for whatever, we get reimbursed by the state and that's that kind of thing. And then just withhold that payment until we're brought up to compliance. It could be anywhere from that to who knows at this point. And then Antoinette,
Oh,
I have the library stuff I already addressed with. I already addressed that, so we're good there. All I have left is Antoinette. We're discussing the weeds situation and things like that.
yes, we have, an important person coming August 20th. I'm not sure if you've heard of Seth from Wondermore, North Dakota. He has over 23,000 followers. He goes through all the cities in North Dakota, and he's coming here August 20th. And so I'm pretty, always telling the businesses, please, 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 pick up your weeds. Do your weeds. That's part of your job, right? That's part of their business, keeping their storefronts nice. But we have issues when it comes to vacant buildings, such as Dream Girls and, well, of course, Jack and Hazel, they're not able to do that. And then, of course, Jensen's Corner. So I'm just wondering, is there anything that we can do, not just now before the 20th, but down the road? And I know our city is very short-handed, but we need to combat this because it seems to be an issue every summer. And it's not just our businesses, of course. As we know, residents also should take pride. But it's part of my job as Chamber of Commerce Director and tourism to promote our city. And when we had the video on the agency coming here, I specifically said, do not take pictures of our main street, because it just did not look good. And there's other areas in our community that really shine. And so I'm just asking, or just mentioning basically for August 20th, Seth will be here. He'll take pictures of churches, parks, the school, and of course Main Street and businesses. Never will he take pictures of people, but it makes me feel pretty darn good knowing that we have such a wonderful city and we do take care of it. But there's just little issues now and then that seem to be now. So I'm not sure where we go with this. I did send out a survey because there is someone in our community that is interested in opening a new business where he or she would do snow removal, window cleaning, spraying the weeds, but specifying that business owners would be responsible for picking the weeds, and a flat rate, and 17, and you know what, we have 102 investors for the chamber, but only 17 said yes, and 12 said no, so it's 50-50. And this gentleman needed to know the percentage before he would actually go forth and do this business. I think it would be great, but if you get 50% of businesses that are willing to take a chance and have your sidewalk swept, your from the snow, and then snow plowed, or not snow plowed, but is that right?
It's removed.
Yeah, removed, and window cleaning, and so anyways, we know that people are out there that really do care, and the other day, the Cub Scouts were picking the weeds, and I know like Dave probably gets a lot of grief from people out in the community when you're playing bingo or whatever. I do too, and so we all need to kind of like just work together to make this even more of a special community. And with, like I said, that video, and now with Seth coming to town, we just need to get after our businesses, and I say that nicely, but I don't know if there's any ordinances out there about people who own buildings that just let them dilapidate, is that the right word? Monty and I have had many talks about it too. It's just very frustrating because we have such potential, and we need to do something now or we'll miss the boat. And to attract people and workforce here, we have to set a precedent as a community full of vibrancy and culture and tradition, and with Chalk Fest and Harvest Fest and our musical and our school. We have a lot going on, but I'm just asking for a little more help because I have a board, they all are full-time, our city is down, workers. So that's my story. I'm just seeing what else we can do to.
So one thing I was thinking about, I should popped in my head, school related. Okay, so every year, I don't remember if they did it last year at the end of the year,
Community service.
groups go out, you know, a group of seniors go and help out an older folks family, rake the leaves or clean the lawn. I know there's been kids down planting flowers out in front of the lumberyard for Terry.
Yeah.
Might be something to maybe pick brains with the school board, maybe.
And I would wholly agree with that as far as like, well, okay, so ultimately there is an ordinance. And that could be way missing the mark. I've been known to misinterpret the way laws are written in the past, and that's not to say that's not the case now, but from what I understand, it's chapter 12 under public nuisances. There is an ordinance required that mandates all the owners, tenants, agent owner, blah, 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 basically stating that they're responsible for, taking care of these weeds and things in front of, I'll just read it. It's sections, chapter 12. What's that?
12-105.
Yeah, that one, 105. Is that what you said? Then there's this.
Vegetation.
This
I
one's
mean, if we're
sunset.
getting after residents, we should be.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, the responsibility falls on them. And prior to all this, like this was even prior to me coming on the commission or the board here, I had noticed just something that I don't even really pay attention to, but the weeds were pretty bad by like the Jensen's area and that side of the street, and it was enough to get my attention, which again, there's really nothing there for me to focus on, but then I saw that it was pretty bad. But yeah, this ordinance states it is the duty of landowners within the corporate limits of the city of Hazen to cut all weeds and grasses on their lands, including the weeds and grasses growing within the street and alley right of way bordering their lands. Any weeds and or grasses 6 inches or longer in height are deemed to be a nuisance and must be abated. But when it comes as far as to Jensen's, property there, that would be something great, I think, for high schoolers to kind of step in, or whoever to step in and contribute if that's something that they want to do. However, the rest, the ones who are able to do it, I think that they need to start being held accountable, I guess, if it starts to get to the point where it's.
God, what do you got anything to add on that? I mean, is that fair to say, or we got teeth in the matter, or?
About the landowners being responsible
Yep.
for the.
Because, I mean, repercussions of that, I mean, it's ultimately, Monty, you send out a letter, right?
Yep.
Essentially stating what the problem is, and do you give a timeline? Yeah, you give a timeline, a date that it must be brought up to, you know,
And if it's not, the city will do it, and if we get it, then they'll have to pay the $100
pay
per
us to do
hour.
it then, yeah.
With a minimum of 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's very similar probably to our current letters we send out.
That's exactly what we say.
yeah, it sounds like it's the same exact, it's the same exact thing,
Yeah.
it's for, it doesn't specify whether it's business or it's just any landowner, so, within the city limits, so. It's just something to bring up that
And I have business owners that ask me to, what can we do to help? And I don't pick your reads, but then somebody did ask about the gravel, that
Yes.
city parking lot, that's our parking lot, right? The city, the one across from the tattoo, or in the tattoo area.
the municipal
There's,
parking
and I
lot
drove
between
by, and
Century
I'm
up
like, yes,
and-
you're right, there's like gravel there, so maybe we can have that.
That got cleaned up, I think, today.
Did it? Oh, good. Okay, because again, I worry about Harvest Fest. I don't want anyone to come after our awesome city or the chamber or anyone. If the attractive nuisances are gone, then we don't have to worry about it. So, I just wanted to, I know you came and talked, and I said, I just have one thing. If I need to get people to move here, that's just me being plant person, non-seed person.
No,
Sorry,
I mean,
but-
it's all part of it, right? We want this city to grow and thrive and attract more and more as much as we can, and that's just one thing that somebody may just be like, no, turn that off, and then move on to the next, you never know.
I have to say, I'm glad we didn't do the flowers this year, the hanging baskets. They're nice, but we are looking in the future for getting those big cement ones that you can just put on a corner and have the businesses like maintain them. Because they do a great job with that already. But maybe the chamber could buy the flowers and they just maintain, or not the chamber, but HCD City, because you guys have been very generous in that situation. But yeah, anything I can do to help, I just want to see it get better and blossom more. Not weeds, but flowers.
That's what I got.
Let's see, police, fire, forestry.
We have some run reports for the police department here. Officer Byers had 24. Officer Anthony Melberg had 23. Officer Samantha Melberg had 56. And Chief Wolf had 98. Officer Byer also was on vacation, part of that, according to Chief Wolf's notes on this. I do have some questions for you, Chief. Has our body cameras that we purchased a while ago been put into place and are being used? Okay, how about the tasers?
Sam and Tony is, they have been running, I just haven't put mine on yet. I'm still using my old one now. Just until it dies.
Till it dies. Okay, how about the tasers?
Hazen's in, I'm wearing the new one I've got now. They got a completely online training.
Okay, so the other officers have theirs?
They don't have them working, they gotta pass the online testing first.
Okay. How about the sidearms? Have those new sidearms been issued?
We got, AJ went through all of them, got them ready to go. He's got holsters, getting the holsters for them, and then they'd be issued.
So we're still getting holsters for them? We haven't even got those yet?
We've been working on it.
We received those sidearms back in the end of May.
But when AJ did look for the holsters and stuff, they was out of stock. And so he had to wait, and now they're back in stock.
Were each officer able to order their own holsters?
We talked about it. I know Sam and only wants like that leg strap one. But if we ever lose anybody and they don't want one, then it's just gonna be a waste of money, so we get them all the same for now. And then they have the option of, if they want one, they can go to it and buy it.
The reason I ask that is because the same holster that works for you may not work for Sam that's a foot shorter than you. Or however, you know, her arms are not near as long as yours are. It might not be comfortable for her at all. So instead of ordering a blanket type holster, why don't we allow these officers to order the ones that they're comfortable with?
Okay, if we can do it, then if they happen to leave and stuff, and then nobody else wants that holster again. But I see what you're saying.
But at the same point, if we're buying a holster that doesn't work for somebody and it's just gonna sit there, we also wasted the money on that, and we're forcing the officer to go buy their own.
We're gonna have to hold off, and if they want, we can order one or two in and see how they like them. And then if it doesn't work for Sam, then we can get a different one in for Sam. See what I'm saying?
But then potentially waiting for that much longer, right?
Yeah, we've already been waiting for several months, you know, and
I understand that, but these things take time.
I get that. Don't get me wrong on that. I get stuff's back ordered, it's hard to get. But I think we need to get the ball rolling on this. And we should also get those firearms issued to these officers that do want them, so they can start practicing with them.
We can do that, but like I said, we was hoping to get the holsters in too.
Correct. Let's keep working on it, try to get a rush on it if we can, Jim. And let's get these sidearms to these officers so they can start taking them to the range and practicing with the red dots, because it does take a lot to get used to those red dots.
It is a learning curve.
It's a huge learning curve going from iron to red dots and to be comfortable with it. Even without a holster, they can take them to the range and be practicing now. I know in the fall you guys tend to always do your qualifications. Not sure if we'll make it yet this year, but I'm really hoping we can get qualified with the new ones.
That won't be a problem.
Okay. Any update on the new patrol rig? I haven't heard from Tony in a while on that.
Still a month and a half out, maybe.
Month and a
Yeah,
half.
we got the wrong bumper, the wrong gun rack, and a lot of electronics didn't come in.
Didn't come in?
Didn't come in when they don't fit right.
Gotcha.
So,
This outfitter Cat Fleet has just recently been going through this structure change, and they became this entity that, like, yeah, there's just riddled with problems, these guys, just all of a sudden.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah.
I also did go through April, May, and June's calls to service, and I was mainly looking for speeding tickets or warnings that were written. April, there was 4 written. May, there was 3 written. In June, there was 5, April and May were just warnings. June, we had 5 speeding tickets and 2 warnings. To me, that seemed a little low, so I went through officer by officer to see who was writing them. All of these, but one of them, was written by the same officer.
Sam.
So why, to me, that seems alarming that 3 months we got 2 officers that didn't write a single speeding ticket or a single warning.
You gotta remember too, though, Sam works more nights than days. She's only has 3-day shift. And during the day, Jesse can testify if they see you coming.
Yeah, but I've been able to make it, I still make just as many traffic stops during the daytime as I do at nighttime. Sometimes less at nighttime than
And
daytime.
you gotta remember too, we can't compare to Beulah, because all we got is 2 speed zones.
Correct, but I do know you can patrol a mile outside the city limit.
Mile and a half.
Mile and a half, and and if you sit up
Then
at
it would
the
have-
airport or the
Then
golf
it would have
course
to go
out there.
to district.
If it's within,
Because
if
the
it's outside
city,
the.
city judge won't go,
Correct.
they only go half a mile.
Correct, but we're still slowing people down through our area. I've been getting lots of reports on trucks, flying through town. And some of these have been like, yep, and where's the police officer? Sitting up at the office again, like always. It's a reoccurring thing here.
So you want to put the hammer down.
I'm not saying put the hammer down, I'm saying get out and let's do our jobs. That will also help with the Jake breaks. If we're slowing people down to 55, that it is going past the golf course, and they don't need to use their Jakes near as much. You know, so that combats that too, instead of implementing another ordinance, eliminating something, how about we enforce the ones we already have? Is where I'm getting here.
Okay, well, we can start.
Maybe Dustin, a scheduled meeting with the force to kind of go through that in detail would also help, possibly, if you can get everybody together, you know.
Yep.
I feel that would probably help too.
Yeah, we can start, going like Beulah, we can front license plates.
Yeah, but nobody's looking for
License
that.
plate.
Nobody's looking for that. It's just a reasonable cohesion amongst the whole department. If one's out there just doing something, making stops and things like that, just being visible in the public, like, that's just something that should be shared amongst everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to hammer out every single violation you see just because. I think that's unreasonable.
Dustin, I think it'd be advantageous to have a meeting with the force.
I have multiple times already in the last 2 years, and I would say most of them go nowhere. They sound good in the meeting, and then I sit back and watch, and it might pick up for a month or so, and then it goes back into the same routine.
Has Mayor Obenauer been involved with all the meetings?
Everyone, the mayor has been there.
Okay. Well, maybe we can have a discussion with Jerry and,
It'd be done, don't worry, we'll take care of it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to cut you short, but
No.
it's, getting,
Yep.
sounded to me like it's more of a department meeting than commission based, so,
Correct. And that's all I have.
okay, thank you. HCD, no Buster. You have anything to report on for Buster, Monty? And no Mayor Obenauer, anything for Jerry?
Really,
10A, no correspondence. Old business, 11A, fireworks ordinance discussion.
just put it on there because it was brought up at the last meeting, so.
I would like to address it if I could, if that would be all right. That is my main reason I'm here. I was at the commission meeting on the 15th, 16th of July. I believe that was the last meeting I was at. I was the one that brought it up. I have a neighbor that enjoys the 4th of July a lot. And we listen to about 5 to 6 hours of fireworks every year. On the 2nd it starts. It's about 45 minutes long on the 2nd. It's an hour and a half long on the 3rd. It's an hour and a half long on the 4th. And it's 45 minutes or so on the 5th. Every year, same thing. This year, I ended up with a hole in my boat tarp because they decided to shoot it off at the intersection of 3rd Street and 2nd Avenue, in the middle of the intersection. Most of the debris flies my way because I have an empty lot next to my house. I opened up the curtain on the night of the 3rd from my bedroom, couldn't sleep because the noise was constant. The other commissioners were here, heard me speak. I'm the one that, I don't want to shut down fireworks for the guy that wants to shoot some fireworks with their kids. Most of the time that takes 10 or 15 or 20 minutes and they're done. We're talking about people that want to make this a professional show at the 4th of July, that shoot fireworks for hours. And the debris flies in my yard. It's my problem to take care of. The holes in my boat tarp, they're my problems to take care of. My suggestion at the last meeting was to let people go out to the grass dump area, to the lagoon area, and shoot their fireworks. I would like to see the time shortened each night. I would like to see the second perhaps go away altogether. People want to shoot fireworks, shoot on the 3rd and the 4th. I don't know why we allow fireworks on the 5th. Don't know. That's just how we do it. But there's a lot of people in town. I had Officer Wolf come over and verify the damage that I had, and the debris on my roof of my house, and the debris all over my yard. And he confirmed it the morning of the 4th. All I did was have Officer Wolf there. It shifted their fireworks discharge from the intersection of 2nd Avenue and 3rd Street to the alleyway a half a block east of me. You know what? I didn't have any more debris in my yard. But it bothered the neighbor on the other side of them. That's just the way it is. I did visit with my neighbor. I did talk to him. And all he told me is he was legal. Because all people care about is how long they can shoot it and what days they can shoot it. They don't care if they annoy their neighbors. They don't care if their neighbors enjoy it or don't enjoy it. The city allows it at these dates and at these times, and by golly, we're going to do it.
Monty, go ahead.
You know,
Monty, I know, I don't remember what year it was. I'm just going to say several. We adjusted it. Do you remember the changes that we made at all, or look back, or?
Yeah. July of 2021, it was changed to make different days, different hours, depending on when it was, but generally it starts on the 1st and it ends on the 5th.
And I don't recall, did we I just don't remember that far back. Did we shorten the time window? Do you remember that, what we changed?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Even though we just then, I guess, followed, you know, the state, I guess, guidelines, you know, that was a 10-day then explaining period.
And I thought that's
Because
what,
it used to start on the 27th. When they started selling fireworks, we could shoot them off in town. And then now, subsequently, that's not the case. It looks like it's just,
Yeah.
it's shortened up.
Generally starts on the 1st now.
Yeah.
Nothing, you can sell them before the 1st, but you can't discharge them until after the 1st, or on the 1st, through the 5th.
so you are right, we did kind of follow the state. Any discussion, suggestions?
I do have one thing to add as far as the penalty section for the fireworks. Now, working for the city of Hazen for the 5 years I had just recently, it's a dreaded time of the year for us when it comes to the fireworks stuff because it's constant calls from one end of town to the next for hours straight, it seems like. Constantly, and it's futile. It's uphill. It's an uphill battle both ways. And it's usually typically the same repeat offenders every single year, and it sucks. And I think part of that is because the penalty that we have written so far, it states that any person found in violation of this ordinance can be fined up to $500. Now, with that said, and what I've been under the impression of while working was that it's a $500 fine. So that, to me, having discretion as an officer, that this is a no-go, because to me, it didn't fit the crime. You know, just shooting off fireworks at 11:01 when you're supposed to stop at 11. Now, granted, I've been talking to you every single year, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a year. That still, to me, was never justified a $500 citation for that. So I had a hard time with that. And in turn, we all have to deal with this continual situation every single year with mostly the same exact people just run around like chickens with their heads cut off and with all these firework complaints. So what I was thinking, and I discussed this with some of the other officers, just spitballing, potentially bringing that penalty down to something more reasonable, because having discretion over.
Doesn't it say up to 500?
It says up to, but the way that it's written, it doesn't say anything else. So that would imply
the municipal judges.
that would imply that it's an infraction, correct? But again, I think that's even still too harsh. So when it comes to like the dog ordinances and things like that, I think it's been effective. Chief will correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean the step situation, like for first offense for dogs, I believe it's 25. Second offense, it's obviously supposed to be 50. Third offense is 100. Fourth or subsequent offense is an infraction, and you have to go up to.
And the way we ordered it treats that's per year.
Sure, yeah, and that's what he said.
So next year, we start, if the guy has 4 and 5 violations, 2025 would come back as, if he gets caught
First
again,
offense.
it's a $25 fine.
Within a year period. And so I was thinking more along those lines, because the thing is having had the discretion, I wasn't going to cite anybody for that. However, if it was a $50 citation for first offense or something like that, definitely that is justifiable to me. And that may be nothing to that person as far as a monetary loss. However, that puts the burden on them, and there's always that, oh crap, I gotta go take care of that ticket. And the problem could potentially be resolved that way as far as some of these issues that are compounding from these violations. And I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know what that would take to get that changed or to do that, but it's just something that had come up in conversation trying to figure out a solution.
I have another.
In the time frame, would it be a violation?
Literally the only thing that I'm thinking that would be changing would be just the penalty. Everything else the same. I mean, as far as right now, I mean, it's kind of hard to.
Well, the one question I have is the very first sentence of your fireworks is,
that was the other thing.
Shooting them from a public roadway.
Yeah, that it does say.
That's where 90% of, I think, the problem comes from. And the argument is, well, some of these people don't have any place else to do it. Okay, my reply to that is, if you don't have a place to do it, maybe you shouldn't. Okay, so then this is where my idea comes up with going out to the grass dump area, letting people shoot their fireworks. Oh, there's fire, there's a chance of fire out there, just like there's a chance of fire in town. I was just out there last night dumping some grass. I'm willing to bet you could have 8-10 groups of people out there shooting fireworks and not bother anybody. Each other out there, because the area is large enough.
The only problem I see is my crew would have to be up there cleaning up all the debris because they would shoot and just leave.
Oh, absolutely.
So then we'd be out there cleaning up all the big
That's
boxes
true.
or whatever.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, then there's that, and then just the confined nature of everybody shooting off fireworks right next to each other, that could lead to a whole slew of potential issues. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, just something that's out there, that would be great, but I just don't foresee that being a practical.
Because now I get to clean it up. See, that's what I'm getting at, is I get to clean it up. Yes, somebody cleaned the street up, that's wonderful. Nobody cleaned my yard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't have any fireworks. but I got to clean them up. And it isn't just this year. It's been that way for years. It just was worse this year than it's been in any other year.
Sure.
And I don't know if you remember, Mr. Stern, Mr. Folkerts, you were here. At the beginning, or before maybe the meeting even started, back in July, Mr. Obenauer's reply to one of his neighbors who called him and complained about the fireworks. Do you remember what he said?
Even
He
after
told her?
freshman.
Okay. He told her, I don't know what to tell you. You either have to medicate your dog or leave town. Okay, that's what he told his neighbor. What do you tell the people that have infants, children?
To
Do
be,
you tell them that they need to medicate their children?
well, to be frank with you, sir, I have been receiving complaints from those people.
But I just, you know,
Yeah.
and then leave town because you can't deal with the fireworks. Wow, that seems like great advice to me.
So we have to work on behalf of everybody in town here.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, it's, and the thing is, I mean, we don't have a majority of the town coming and having complaints in regards to, and I empathize with your situation, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to you by any means, I'm sorry about you, okay, I don't want to make it sound like that, but we have far fewer complaints and people wanting to have change made to this ordinance than we do, you know, otherwise. So yeah.
So if I talk to people that are out there, they just don't come in. A lot of them are senior citizens that aren't gonna come to your meeting, no matter what the issue is, unless it's money, then maybe they will, but they won't come to the commission meeting otherwise. But I'll just tell them that there's nothing we can do, because it's just the way it is. And, you know, I guess, you know,
I truly think though that potentially or amending the penalty section of this ordinance, it's a start, and I think it may surprise us how much more effective that can potentially be.
well, I'm just happy if they would enforce not shooting it on a public roadway. I'm absolutely, because.
That again, I think would be a colossal feat at this point, because I think we've had it go on for so long to stopping that. To be 100% honest with you, I think that is impossible. I think that would be futile. There's just so many people that's just the way it's been, and it hasn't been enforced, and that's my fault too for being a city officer, because I was ignorant to that portion of the ordinance, and I apologize to you for that. However, at this point, I think that's something that may even have to be looked at being removed as far as shooting from public roadways. I don't know how it would be worded to take liability off of us, or if that's even the purpose of screwing behind that part of the ordinance. But I do think that this penalty situation being looked at would be step in the right direction as far as helping try to get some kind of resolution that everybody in town would be on board with.
So basically dropping it down so it's more realistic.
Realistic, something that more so fits the violation, you know what I mean? It's just a standard flat infraction or up to $500 fine, because the way it's written, it says up to $500. To me, that would imply that means it's an infraction. Potentially, you'd have to have that fine set by a judge, essentially, versus, you know, having this, you know, for violation one, you can be cited and fined up to whatever, and then, like I said, the fourth or subsequent offense, and that's when we can get to that realm, the infraction sense of things, and having a judge.
Like recommend a 3-step, and then that
First offense, second offense, third offense, fourth or subsequent within, I think it should be within a longer period than an annual basis, but, because again, these are the same repeat offenders every single year, so you're just gonna start back at one, that's worth $25 or whatever, like this last one, I don't know, you know.
But who's gonna track that then?
We're worried, we've been able to track it, I mean, it's a pain in the butt, but we know, again, the repeat offenders, it was difficult at first with the dog stuff to kind of keep track of who we've all cited, and there's been people that we've cited for first offense the fourth or fifth time. However, it seems to be a little easier the further you went on with that, to track that stuff. And again, it's all tracked via, any kind of calls for service that comes in from the public, or anything that we radio in as far as what we're responding to. Dispatch automatically generates the calls for service report, in which that's where Dustin gets his reports from, as far as numbers and stuff go. So you can look it up in reference.
I don't try to do the fireworks, the 3-strike program, it's on 4 days, 3 days.
What was that?
I don't know how you do the fireworks as a, lever, 25, 50, and it's only like 0.8 year.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the reason why I think the annual basis wouldn't necessarily work out, but maybe within a 5-year period. But again, these are the repeat offenders that respond to the same house sometimes, upwards of 3-4 times a year or a season, and it's just, I don't know. I think by lowering this to something more reasonable for the violation would definitely,
This is just a question.
Yeah.
Hypothetically say we do this, we approve a new reading. Is that a ticket that a guy could give right there, like a parking ticket? On the spot?
Yeah, roll up and I'd issue a citation if you do anything else. Fourth one, I'd be issuing that same citation, but it would technically be a summons into court. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree.
Dustin?
Maybe, the first step would stay there, and maybe that, then it would then go up a lot more, Yeah. But
I really think allowing people to shoot them on a public roadway is a mistake to have that removed. I think you need to leave that on there, because if people are being a nuisance, let's say, and they're in the middle of an intersection, hey, the city thinks it's okay, not a problem. I think when you're in an intersection, that's wrong. You do it in front of your house, that's fine. You do whatever you want in front of your house. If your neighbor across the street's okay with it, I guess, do whatever you want. But in an intersection, I don't think so. I really don't think that is a good idea.
As far as just, so with that being said, I don't know if that would necessarily need to be enforced under the firework ordinance for the city of Hazen, because technically that could be constituted as disorderly conduct. There's many ways of enforcing that particular problem that may arise out of people shooting fireworks off city streets. Like if they're blocking the roadway because they're lighting off fireworks and refusing to let cars through. That's part of one of the elements as far as,
Because now you have no recourse. If you remove that, you have no recourse. Somebody's shooting it off. You can call the officer, but if it's a public roadway, and the officer.
That's my point, is it doesn't need to be enforced in the realm of this fireworks ordinance. Like, if I get called to that, say it were a city officer, right? And I could enforce the ordinance, I would show up and be like, it wouldn't be under the firework ordinance per se, unless obviously there's some other violation there regarding the fireworks, but you could charge them for, there's a slew of other laws that would fit under as far as being a violation for,
Monty, did you have a comment?
But wouldn't that fall under the penalty for the whole thing? If they're shooting in the street, it's a $50 ticket the first time,
Yeah.
so.
And it would, yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly.
But I just think that's a colossal monumental task.
Catch 'em.
What's that?
Catch them. Somebody's gotta be able to say, this is the guy who did it. You can't just roll up on a street where nobody's standing and say, well, it's gotta be you, it's a truck.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But still, there's
I-
a preponderance of evidence. It's the lowest burden of proof that you have. So, that in itself can be enough to, find this person guilty in municipal court. Let's be honest.
I could go to somebody else's house and stand in front of the street.
That's it.
One person standing there, or there's 5 people standing there.
These are,
Yeah.
But the second, so my thing is, the second this rolls out, now we have enforcement issues, because now you're running from one end of town to the next, and that's just, I just don't, in spirit, I think it's a great, I mean, in a perfect world, I can't see any other way of fighting it on that. However, I don't know if that's gonna be that possible to enforce. I mean, there's only one city council at any given time, and who can enforce this ordinance as far as, that goes. I like the idea, I just don't know how practical or how possible, how that would actually work out. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. You have a good evening.
You too, sir.
Any more comment on 11A before we move on? Nothing being heard? 12A, 2025 preliminary city budget and hearing date. Potentially October 7th at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it has to be after September 7th and no later than October 7th. Your regular meeting is going to be on October 7th, so that would be,
I hate putting it right up against the end of it,
well, you've got another month and a half to make changes.
correct, but to have that, on the very final day, what if we don't have quorum?
If it's looking like we won't have a quorum, we'll have to, you can still do the hearing and you'd have to, so long as the hearing is held before the 7th.
Oh, it's
You don't have to approve the budget. The budget has to be submitted by the 10th.
You just gotta have it on or before the 7th of October. Right? Yes?
Well, it has to be after September 7th or no later than October 7th as far as the public hearing. Approval of the budget has to be done before October 10th.
That was it. It still gives you a couple days of changes in the
Yeah. And most changes will more than likely occur before the public hearing.
Right.
Unless there's some real strong opposition to it.
So what are the wishes of the board?
I would just leave it there from the 7th.
Any concerns about the numbers? I think I put them into the notes for you.
I know I emailed you, Monty, and Jeff, Dave, and I didn't know of anything big.
Yeah. I did visit with all the different departments. I visited with Jared and Dale a little bit too about any equipment. So most of the equipment needs have been included in this budget. I thought we'll put them in there, if nothing else, as we whittle it down before October, if something else comes out, if we take it out. If it's not a need, it's a want, we can always take it out. But again, starting high, we can always go down.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just everybody that I have portfolios for, nobody's mentioned anything.
So we want to go ahead and leave it at October 7th at 5 then?
6. Hopefully that was 6.
Yeah, you did.
6, sorry, 5 more contacts for you. I think pulled it out, yeah.
You want a line?
No. All right, then we'll leave it there, moving on, public.
I need a motion.
Oh, sorry, my bad, back up.
So,
Motion by Weider, second by Stern. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we can move on to 13, public comments. Any public comment this evening? Hearing none. 14, approval of bills.
motion to approve bills as presented.
Second.
Motion by Weidrich, second by Folkerts. Discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich. Aye. Folkerts.
Aye.
Stern. Hack.
Aye, motion carried. Meeting adjourned. All right,
That was all.